番組の途中ですが、簡単なアンケートを行います。左の新卒くんと右の引きこもりくん、あなたはどちらが嫌いですか？
Can you hear me now? Sorry. Strange. Okay. Who are we picking? The graduate on the left or the shut-in on the right? Who are we picking, Hale? I know you're there. You're so lost. I'm lost too. I literally just got this game. Who do you hate more? Who do you despise more? You hate both. Okay. Oh. 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 一部の反対意見を踏み潰すのにこれほど優れたシステムはないもの。ぐちゃぐちゃに踏みにじって少数派の体液で湿った道を踏み固めれば盤石安泰大安心。きっと少数派のことなんてありんこ程度にも思ってない多数派の偉い人が作ったんだろうね。Yeah, that well shit indeed. Fuck.
多様性があってこそのエンタメだからね。喜劇的で野生的な殺戮のエンタメと喜劇的で文化的な正義のエンタメで競い合う。おお、今の視聴者数はおよそ5000人か。では今宵の最後のエンタメとしてあなたから君たちに一つ問いかけよう。この着ぐるみの中の男は中学時代にひどいいじめを受けて以来10年間引きこもり生活を続けてきた。女手一つで育ててくれた母への恩もどこへやら。毎日怒鳴る殴るの繰り返し、ついには母は病気で倒れ、その異常にも気づけなかった彼のせいで帰れない。
Oh. Oh Lord. What have I done?
生存へと導いたのはこういう人物なんだよ。今一度質問だ。君たちは彼が好きかい？過半数以上の視聴者が彼を好きだというのなら解放しようじゃないか。
Fuck. I also hate this. What the fuck? I like him.
好きだと言ってくれた人は500人にも満たなかったね。悲しいよ。なんて残酷な悲劇だろう。本当に悲しくて胸が引き裂かれそうだ。しかしだからこそ最高に残念だけどそろそろお別れの時間だ。俺は我が輩だ。我が輩は漫然とエンタメを消費する奴らの敵だ。エンタメとして消費される君たちの味方だ。
Oh Lord.
さあここからは君たちも楽しんでくれ。
What the hell? Pair by pair, more and more bodies surface until half a year later over 100 have been killed since that first broadcast. The sheer number of victims and brutality of the murders flings society into chaos. I grip my phone tight as I read articles about the murders, speaking aloud despite myself. I've seen the effects of this Duke all around me. People are terrified to go outside, and stores have even shortened their hours. What's worse, he's gained some traction among young copycats, taken by his charisma. With police overwhelmed, small private agencies like mine are in huge demand apparently. Even the FBI is getting involved. Past events has already stoked the need for this line of work, but the Duke has only made things worse. The media jeers at the detective craze. As I lay and wait for my mark, I recall Memento's words inside of myself.
I work for the Gunjoji Detective Agency. It's probably one of the punier agencies around, though nowadays we're buzzing with activity. I'm a student working part-time, but they plan to recruit me once I've graduated. The situation must be getting pretty serious nationwide. The thought alone makes me a bit miserable. Is this a reality faced by by all-inspiring detectives? Okay, that's enough of that. My worries run wild when I'm on my own. It's a bad habit, but I've got to focus on work. There he is, my mark. He's on the move. After a moment's pause, a man clad in a trench coat starts off down the road again. I make sure I'm out of earshot before calling in my report, just as my mentor had instructed. Quieting my steps, I follow the man cautiously. He's our top suspect in the serial pet killer case, and according to Mr. Gunjoji, he may be armed. Whatever I do, I absolutely cannot allow my presence to be detected. Suddenly, the man is right in front of me. I reflexively take a step back. Did he notice me following him, despite the cover of the darkness and my voice being out of earshot? As I try to move past him, the man blocks my path. So the very act of pausing here was a trap. Ugh, how could I make such a rookie mistake? It didn't even register with me. I have no one to blame but myself. Blood rushes to my face. I poured everything into becoming a detective. His words sting worse than a slap to the face. There's no way I can just let it slide. I hoped the edge in my voice would intimidate him, but the man only lets out an exasperated sigh. As much as I hate it, he's read me like a completely open book. The moment a detective reveals himself always seems so cool on television. But he's right, sharing your identity in this line of work is far too dangerous, something to keep in mind next time. The man slides his hand into his pocket and readies his stance. He's clearly holding a weapon. This isn't the first time I've gone up against someone armed with a knife, but I still feel my hair standing on end. My heart slams frantically against my rib cage as I freeze up, willing my trembling legs to remain steady. I tear off my jacket and wrap it around my left fist to form a makeshift glove, a guard against his knife. In my dominant hand, I grip a pair of handcuffs like brass knuckles, armed as best as I can. I face off with the man. The man just watches me, showing no signs of movement. Good, he's probably never seen anyone use handcuffs for self-defense before. It's only natural he'd be wary. I'm struck speechless. What are the odds he'd know this tactic? I fumble for an answer, but my mind goes blank. The man suddenly backs down and speaks with a smile. Wait, what? Is this another trap? Glancing my way, he continues. Upon hearing my question, the man pulls what looks to be a tablet out of his pocket. The screen shows a familiar symbol and the words Detective Alliance. I can't help but yell out the name. The Detective Alliance, and the very organization I revere more than anything else. As I calm down, my face begins to burn bright red. I had let my excitement carry me away on a totally nerdy rant. Still, the Detective Alliance has been the dream I've aspired to ever since I learned about it from Mr. Kunchoji.
私は老子探偵。探偵同盟のフル株で、今はスカウトや補助を主に担当している。まあ推理力はまだまだ若い探偵には負けんがな。今回の動物殺傷事件などは少々骨がなさすぎたくらいだよ。
As prideful as he sounds, I can tell by his expression that he's speaking purely from well-earned experience. He has an air about him that's unlike anyone I've ever met, the kind that could only come from a member of the Detective Alliance. As secretive as it is, the Detective Alliance has grown more famous by the day thanks to the recent detective craze. Even now, the news is full of stories about cases cracked by the Detective Alliance members. And then there's all the terrorist plots in the wake of the Quartering Duke incidents that they've thwarted with almost zero leads. The whole reason I joined a detective agency was to carve a path earning a spot alongside those detectives one day. Looked up to by the detectives far and wide, the Detective Alliance is the absolute paragon for those pursuing justice.
な勘違いばかりして犯人呼ばわりまでしてしまって。
よしてくれ。誤解を招いたのはこちらだ。それからさん付けも結構だぞ。我らの業界では探偵は継承に等しいのでな。
Though Senior Detective amicably shoves off my apology, his unshakable calm only makes me warier of where this is going. Then, as if noticing how on edge I look, he continues to speak. I respond lamely, unable to fully grasp what he's saying.
もう一度言うぞ。探偵同盟の一員として八つ崎港事件の捜査に協力してほしいと言っているんだ。
The sound I make is so shrill and alien, I scare even myself. I pinch my cheek to make sure that this isn't just some dream. Ow, nope, not a dream. Maybe this is Mr. Gonchochi's idea of a prank. No sign of him anywhere, so probably not. Which means... My mind goes blank again, but if this is real, then my dream is coming true far sooner than I ever imagined. There was so much I could learn, so many accomplished detectives I could meet. Ideal detectives like the ones I aspire to be. The kind who could have prevented the tragedy that unfolded before my eyes 10 years ago. What? How can I hesitate? I state my intentions loud and clear. The moment I try to answer, Senior Detective's arm hugs around my neck and begins to squeeze like a vice. It's so tight I can't breathe. I flail and kick frantically, but all I hit is the air and the ground below my feet. I feel a prick as a slender needle pierces the skin of my neck. What feels like liquid ice begins to pump through my veins, my skin turns pale, my limbs go numb, and my strength fades. My vision blurs as my legs start to give out. I sag against the man restraining me. And then, as if the stars have been wiped from the night sky, everything goes black. What the fuck?
尋ねておいて悪いが、拒否権はない。お前さんには参加する義務があるんだよ。この探偵撲滅プロジェクトにな。
Oh. I haven't felt this way in a long time. My consciousness drags sluggishly as if I'm trapped in thick mud, helplessly sinking deeper and deeper. As much as I try to shut it out, that traumatic nightmare pulls me in once again. In my dream, I'm running down a dark, frigid corridor, holding on tight to the hand of a girl my age. The girl is beautiful, with bewitching black hair, pure white skin, and light purple eyes reminiscent of whatever that word is. I remember nothing else about her, but I'm sure at the time she was very precious to me. And then, right before my eyes, a blade swings down and slashes her, covering her in a burst of red. I clutch onto her before she can collapse and face the criminal that did this to her. The massive, unmistakably inhuman silhouette emits a strange mechanical whir. Its murderous intent is nearly enough to pierce through flesh as it focuses on me. I prepare to die as no more than a child. But at the moment, and the girl in my arms strains to get words out of her voice. Words out as her voice begins to fail. I might escape if I leave her now and run. But maybe I can still save her. There's no way I can just abandon her. That's all I can remember. My memory comes out completely as if the next page has been torn out. However, since I'm alive, it's obvious what came after. I traded Saika's life to save my own. This was the mass kidnapping and confinement incident I was in a decade ago, the reason I became a detective. A shadowy organization took 16 children and locked them in an underground prison for a month, never to be caught. Am I supposed to just live with the sacrifices that came out of that, like Saika? I was too incompetent to save even one girl, but I refused to leave it there. My heart and soul demand that I see it through. I will become a great detective, a hero, and one day I'll reveal the truth behind what happened 10 years ago. Jesus, what the fuck? I finally come to. My eyelids are so heavy, just opening them is an undertaking. That was one long dream. It was one I've had countless times before. That fateful day I swore I'd become a detective. That incident remains unsolved to this day. What really happened all those years ago? As a survivor, the vague testimony I provided didn't help much. The case had gone cold for 10 years now. I've got to find the truth to track down the villain who killed Saika, the girl I owe my life to, and that's why I entered this line of work. But that aside, my whole body is aching right now. My mattress feels like a rock and smells like rust. I managed to pry my eyes open, but everything is pitch black. What's more, I can't even move. My limbs are restrained like I've been wrapped in some kind of sleeping bag. Don't tell me I'm trapped in here. Mustering all my strength, I try to worm my way out. Suddenly, my vision is flooded with a bright light. I'll be right back. A lot, apparently. Whatever restrained me slackens as my own momentum forces me upright. The sight I met with is a lush woodland lies before my eyes. Beneath me is an old rusty locker. Guess that's what I've been stuffed in just a second ago. Who would do this to me and why? When did I even get here? What the heck is going on? Good old Watto here is singing the same thing, Hale. What the hell is happening? What the hell is happening? I don't know what the hell is happening. My head swirls in confusion as I try to recall what happened last. The hastiness clears as I remember that I was suddenly attacked by Senior Detective and eventually lost consciousness. He claimed to be a part of the Detective Alliance, but maybe that was just a bluff. I reached to grab my smartphone, but after a frantic search, I realized my front pockets had been emptied. As I continue searching my person, I notice an unfamiliar weight in my back pocket. That's weird. I don't normally keep stuff back there. Suspicious. I carefully pluck out the foreign object from my pocket. It's a tablet device, like an oversized smartphone, more or less. The moment I see it, though, a chill runs down my spine. I lift it up, touching the buttons out of habit, and a notification appears. Authentication successful.
おはよう、北条ワト君。探偵デバイスを起動させたようだな。薬の効果とはいえ、まさか数日も眠り続けるとは減点1だぞ。
3 days? I got drugged by that guy and was knocked out for 3 fucking days? Hello? As the tablet comes to life, a familiar voice emanates from its speaker.
お前さんをこの場に連れてきた張本人、老子探偵だ。3日前にもあったな。もっとも、お前さんは眠り続けていたから、つい先ほどの出来事に思うだろうがな。
僕は3日も眠ってたのか。
Me too, Watto, me too. So Senior Detective's the one reaching out to me. I knew I recognized his voice from before. Still, his tone is pretty nonchalant for a kidnapper. I can't help but feel irritated.
きっと私に騙されたと思っているだろうが、お前さんが探偵同盟の一員となったことは真実だよ。嘘だと思うのなら、その探偵同盟の一員である証、探偵デバイスで登録情報を調べてみるといい。探偵同盟の正式なメンバーとしてお前さんの情報が登録されているはずだ。
I open up the tablet and look through the roster he mentioned. There I find my profile, beginning with my full legal name.
それに群青寺先生しか知らないはずの僕の特技や経歴まで登録されている。
Ouch, my special skill is housework. I'm no great detective, sure, but that's a low blow. I wonder what else is on here.
この探偵たちの序列と探偵ネームも載ってる。出勤の凶悪事件の情報や捜査状況まで。
From the latest incidents all the way back to before I was born, it's a robust selection of key documents about cases infamous to the public. Far too much for one person to read, frankly. Even at a glance, most of the content seems to be highly technical in nature. This is way too much effort for a prank, meaning the DA really did recruit me? Can I trust what Senior Detective says?
探偵同盟の一員になったんですね。信じていいんですか、老子探偵さん。
なお、今流れているのは録音音声だ。緊急事態が起こったので、お前さんを森の中へ隠し、
Why didn't... If you decided to hide Watto in the woods, why didn't you, like, hide him, I don't know, closer to HQ? Or at least put him closer to HQ? That's just me. So that's how it is. I assume this was a phone call, but I guess that's not the case. The device's settings must have been configured to play this voice message as soon as it's finished authenticating.
準備ができ次第、デバイスのマップ機能を使って森を抜け、山の頂上の洋館へと向かうんだ。洋館で待っていれば彼らと合流できるはず。私も必ず後で向かうから待っていてほしい。それから途中で見かける建物には絶対に入るな。入れば減点などでは済まない。自分の身を守るためだと思って私の指示に従ってくれ。
No one said that the police weren't stupid? Yeah, that's fair. Senior Detective speaks without pause. The moment he's finished, the sound cuts out abruptly. I stand there in a daze, holding the tablet, my new D-pad, in one hand. I lift my head and peer through the tree line, making out the shape of the mountain with an imposing manor resting on its summit. Is that the building Senior Detective was referring to? While I don't fully trust him, my options are limited. Pressed for choice, I open the map application on my tablet. Various graphics appear on the screen displaying the surrounding area. All that loose surrounding everything must be the ocean, which means I've been taken to a remote island. Either way, getting all gloomy won't solve things. I use my fingers to zoom in on the map, hoping to find more info to go off of. The screen displays my current location and a few details about the vicinity. Just as Senior Detective said, there seems to be some sort of manor atop of the peak, plus another structure near the tree line. Without any other clues to guide me, I decided to follow Senior Detective's instructions for now. How's the sound for the game, by the way? The tablet hums quietly as I trek on before I see a parting in the trees. A massive heliport stretches before me. To its right sits a relatively small 3-story building. Does the game sound okay? Do I need to, like, adjust? It's okay. Okay. And though it blocks my line of sight, I assume the manor is just up ahead on the top of the hill. The structure here must be the one Senior Detective warned me against entering. It's not like I really trust the guy, so I'm immediately curious to sneak a peek inside. But as soon as the thought crosses my mind, a sudden sense of unease washes over me. On my tablet's map, I see numerous circular icons displayed within the building's walls. Not just a handful, either. Dozens of icons crowd around like ants swarming over food. Judging by my own marker on the map, I think these icons are all people? But if that's the case, what does this mean? My apprehension refuses to die down. I get the sense that going in there would only end in regret, just as Senior Detective would have warned. I need to decide my next step carefully. I will enter the building or ignore it and head to the manor. What do you think, Hale? You know what, I'm curious. No doubt about it. I've got to check this building out first. It'd be risky to blindly trust Senior Detective after all. These circular icons are obviously people, which indicate others are already in there. It makes a lot more sense to meet with them here instead of wandering around on my own. And Senior Detective must be trying to prevent me from finding. Oh Lord. I speak aloud, desperately trying to calm my frantic heartbeat. With great trepidation, I slowly approach the entrance. A dark shadow was faintly visible from the glass door of the building. Just as I had suspected, there are other people here. Without a moment of hesitation, I push the glass door open and rush inside. My voice hitches and my eyes widen like saucers as my train of thought comes to a grinding halt. All from the shock of seeing the horrific scene that lay before me. A large mound rests in the open space beyond the entryway, a haphazard pile, blackened and dead, reeking of rotten cheese and fetid garbage. Convincing myself that it's fake, I draw closer and then lock eyes with one, its cloudy gaze a stark reminder of our shared mortality. It's heartbreakingly clear this corpse once belonged to a living being. Why is this song going hard? This song's going real hard for no reason. What the fuck? My stomach lurches, its contents spilling from my mouth. I can't take it, sinking to my knees. I suck in heavy breaths as my heart hammers so hard it threatens to burst. Senior detective must have known. Regret fills me for not heeding his warning. I want to run, to break away and leave this place forever. I desperately focus all my energy into every lungful of air I take. But my pulse won't slow down. In fact, it keeps growing faster. My chest burns like it's on fire. No matter how hard I try to inhale, my chest only aches more and more until I finally can no longer breathe. My instincts tell me I've got to get outside, but my limbs are numb from the lack of oxygen, heavy and useless as if I'm deep underwater. I crawl, inching along like a caterpillar, but the exit is too far away. A feeling of doom overwhelms me as my strength ebbs away. I can't breathe. I need air. I can't take any more of this. And please help me. Desperate, I try to scream but can't muster up the sound. Pain is agonizing. All thoughts leave my head despite knowing no one will save me. My mind still cries out, help, someone please help. I can't breathe. It hurts. I need to get out. I don't want to die. Help somebody please. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Something snaps. My vision fails, but at least the pain in my chest is finally gone. What? With a start, I see the heliport stretching before me once more. I take deep breaths trying to calm myself. The air tastes good somehow. Not sure why, but I feel like I just woke up from a nightmare. Head to the peak or investigate the building. This could very well be a fateful fork in my path. I need to stay calm, think rationally, and make the right choice here. I will ignore it and head to the manor. I decided to do what Senior Detective suggested and make my way toward the manor at the peak of the mountain. My mentor always chided me for being so rash. Maybe I wouldn't have been abductive if I had just waited for him like I was supposed to. What's more, I get this deep feeling of dread whenever I look at that building to the right of the heliport. I should follow Senior Detective's advice, especially considering that he must have a way better grasp of this situation than me. I make my way up the mountain quietly, grumbling to myself when suddenly a chill runs down my spine. I quickly look behind me, but the only thing in sight is that building. I get the strange feeling that going there would have had a whatever that word is, consequences for me. My uneasiness lingers, but I turn my back and keep going in spite of it. I continue up the twisting mountain path for about 15 minutes, until at last I arrive at the manor door. It was a gentle incline, but I'm still spent. I wearily take a seat, resting my back against the outside wall of the manor. It's the exact kind of setting that you'd expect from in any mystery novel. The manor's exterior speaks to its shade and smells faintly of lumber. You hate this already? I hate it too. During my approach, I can only grasp at the structure's imposing beauty. Upon closer inspection, I notice that its windows are constructed from an unnaturally thick glass, impossible to break or peek through. I stand up and circle the perimeter, but there don't appear to be any points of entry aside from the front door. If anything, it seems like it was built to house prisoners, not residents. This definitely isn't your average manor. What on earth could be waiting within? I slow down and catch my breath. My hand is damp with sweat as I turn the knob of the manor's only entrance. A loud clank rings out as it swings open with ease. The interior seems normal enough. I ask weakly as I take a step inside. As soon as I let go of the knob, the door closes on its own. Not one moment later, a sharp pain suddenly erupts in my head, causing me to stagger involuntarily. A shadow at my feet expands rapidly, my spine tingles as I feel something rush quickly towards me. Without even a moment of hesitation, I kick out and leap to the side. However, something slams hard against the back of my skull. The impact sends me flying. My vision swims, my mind already fading. I find myself unable to stand, then the world fades to white. What the fuck is happening right now? This is only the beginning of the game?
Oi, oi, こいつ全然起きねえぞ。一発蹴りでもかますか？ヤマトさん、乱暴はやめようよ。
I hear voices nearby.
飛脚パイセンに賛成。暴力とかマジないっしょ。水ぶっかけるくらいでよくね？
渋谷さんも大概過激だな。ここは冷静にね。
もしや心肺が止まっているのではないか。我が速やかに心臓マッサージを。
その必要はありません。どうやら目を覚ましたようですよ。
I open my eyes, but my vision is blurred. The dizzying pain in my head is unbearable. There's a constant ringing in my ears and my body won't move an inch. A wave of nausea comes over me, but I manage to stop myself from groaning. I vaguely recall being hit by something the moment that I stepped into the manor. Alas, my vision finally clears up. When my eyes refocus, I'm met with several unfamiliar faces and a sturdy rope binding me. I'm tied up, surrounded by a group of strangers. What in the world is going on? A girl in a sports jacket grabs me by the throat, glowering menacingly. She looks to be in her early teens, but her strength is incredible. I can't get a peep out while trapped in her iron grip. I'm being choked out right now?
生の言う通りだな。悪かったよ、侵入者。本当にすまねえ。
The girl in the sports jacket lets me go, then immediately falls to her knees, touching her head to the floor as she apologizes.
顔を上げてください。気にしてないから。僕は怪しまれるのに十分な理由が。
I'm so confused.
その通りだが、このままじゃ筋が通らねえ。けじめだ。手痛いのを一発俺に見舞ってくれ。そんなことしませんよ。というか縛られてるのでできません。顔を上げてください。実は僕も状況が全然わからなくて混乱してるんです。皆さんは何なんですか？それにこの島は。
As I ask this so-called rowdy detective my questions, the boy in the wheelchair approaches us.
自らの意思でこの島を訪れたわけではないのですね。それに詳しいことは何もわからないと。ええ、老子探偵という人に連れてこられたらしいんですが、詳しいことは何も。老子探偵のあなたを。
The boy called Techie Detective cups his chin in thought.
先ほど眼球運動を確認した限り気絶していたのに間違いない。自作自演で気絶していた可能性もあるけど、一度事実として考えた方が良さそうだ。でもあの老子探偵が何の目的も告げずにこの本部まで連れてくるなんて何か違和感がある。このお兄さんは僕らとは立ち位置が違うのか。安崎浩二。おい、科学探偵ってばよ。あったあ、ごめんなさい。ちょっと考え込んでしまって。
Rowdy Detective pokes Techie Detective, snapping him out of his trance. He dips his head in apology. I'm as confused as ever right now, but I've heard of these two detectives before. Anyway, should we let the guys... Oh. I kind of wish this game was in English dub.
ごめんなさい。縄を解くのは待つべきだと思うんだ。
And the trendy girl responds with indignation, causing the frail boy to tear up. Nevertheless, he doesn't back down.
敵は20人以上を殺せる毒を有しているわけで、もし彼が敵であった場合、両手が自由になれば微量の毒をまくだけで僕らを全滅させられる。身体検査もなしに自由にするのは危険すぎるよ。ああね、うちがせっかちだったわ。ごめんね。
Even though her idea got rejected, the trendy girl called Downtown Detective laughs as if nothing happened.
飛脚探偵さん、Thank you。さすがは序列14位。マジリスペクトなんですけど。
Doleful?
怖がりなだけだよ。僕なんて。ただ研究棟の皆さんのような犠牲はもう絶対に出したくないから、慎重すぎるくらいに行動しよう。
The somewhat androgynous youth speaks with a voice full of fear. Victims like those in the research facility. A comment catches my attention, but now isn't the time to be asking questions. Instead, I hold my tongue and continue to watch in silence.
心配無用だぞ、飛脚探偵殿。仮に彼が何かを企んでいようとも、この武装探偵がお主らの身は必ず守り抜こう。
The armored man rests one hand on the youth he called Doleful Detective and the other on Downtown Detective.
ありがとうございます、武装さん。僕は運動がからきしなので、すごく頼もしいです。
The boy smiles at Armored Detective. Downtown Detective waves off the gauntlet, looking utterly repulsed.
うちは結構です。暑苦しさやばいんで、両手離れてもらえます？
What the fuck indeed? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on either.
我の序列を覚えてくれているのか。このメンバーで唯一の30位以下だというのに。我は感動したぞ。必ずお主の命を守り抜こう。
皮肉が通じないんですけど。
Armored Detective happily strides closer to Downtown Detective. He doesn't seem to notice the look of genuine disgust on her face. Who is this guy? A man who looks like a corporate employee joins the conversation. He holds a familiar tablet-like device in his hands, a D-pad, the trademark of the Detective Alliance. My heart beats fast in spite of myself, I guess, at the nature of my company. Well, it seems like Dofel's actually a guy. Then there's wheelchair. Thanks, Workaholic Detective. You're always so quick on your feet.
そちらの眠り姫についてリーダーに確認も取ってみたけど、どうやら彼も私たち探偵同盟の仲間だそうだよ。念のため君自身にも聞くけど、間違いないよね。
はい、間違いありません。まだ探偵デバイスを買ったばかりの新人ですけど。
Everything clicks into place as I speak with the man referred to as Workaholic Detective. I knew it. They really are part of the Alliance, and these aren't just any average members. They're so famous even a nobody like me knows of them. There could only be one possible reason why a group of detectives like this would be gathered here. It was the same thing I'd been brought for, to discuss how to handle the quartering Duke. They're all here for that meeting, no doubt.
残る謎はまだ探偵ネームも持たない新人がどうしてこの探偵同盟本部にいるのか。君も八つ崎港対策会議に招集されたのかい？
I have no idea.
自分の探偵デバイスもありますよ。
胸ポケットに入っていたデバイスはやはり君自身のものだったんだね。 悪いけど勝手に体を調べさせてもらったよ。
え、いつの間に。
I don't know how, but Workaholic Detective is clearly holding my device. The fact he could swipe it without my noticing is terrifying. Workaholic Detective grabs my hand to bypass the D-pad's fingerprint authentication of navigating to the message application with practiced ease. He seems to be checking my invitation to the Quartering Duke meeting, which I had been reading just before I fell unconscious.
なるほど。私に届いた連絡と一字一句違わない。確かに君もこの対策会議のメンバーらしいね。
Relief washes through me. A Workaholic Detective smile, but it doesn't last long.
まあこの島に潜入できるほどのものならメールの偽造なんて簡単に行えるだろう。
Workaholic Detective smile turns grim. His piercing gaze cuts through me, making my body flare up with goosebumps.
下手なまでしでかすんじゃねえぞ。三途の川の対岸まで殴り飛ばされたくなきゃな。探偵さんたちのような独自の気配が君からは一切感じられない。結論を出すには検討材料が不足しすぎています。情報が揃うまでは監視はやむなしかと。
The other detectives watch me warily. Their eyes make it abundantly clear that they're on high alert. I completely understand why they suspect my exceptional circumstances, but that doesn't make their their looks sting any less. Dwelling on doleful detectives' unsettling remarks earlier leads me to wonder what happened to the Detective Alliance.
まあさ、怪しんでるからないし、と りまうちらに同行させりゃいいんじゃね。老子のじっちゃんも見つけなきゃだしさ、言い争ってる暇とかないっしょ。
気が合うな、渋谷探偵殿。我も同意見である。証拠が出るまでは彼も仲間の一員でよかろう。
あんたと同意見なのは点下げなんだけど、うち頭悪いからさ、武装ちゃんの言う通りその人も一緒に連れてっていいと思うわけ。ミステリもので仲間割れとか死亡フラグだしね。ミステリものって。
Techie detective smiles wryly as rowdy detective grabs the rope tying me up.
まあ渋谷の言う通りだな。
Rowdy detective tears my restraints apart as if they're made of paper. I can now move freely except for my bound hands. But still, what raw physical strength. It's hard to believe a girl smaller than me can be so powerful. What the fuck?
行動の前に一言確認を取ってほしかったところだけど、私も同意見だよ。先ほど体を調べた時、何も見つからなかったしね。君にはひとまず我々と行動を共にしてもらおう。ただし今は一刻を争う事態だ。私たちがどんな状況に置かれているかについてはまた移動しながら教えるよ。
ありがとうございます。
If I'm being honest, Hale, there's only one reason why I purchased this game, and it's because I saw a male character wearing heels. That's literally the only reason. The detectives head out one after another. Now that the mood has lightened up a bit, I can't help but let out a sigh of relief. I've seen plenty of suspects get interrogated in mystery novels and shows, but never did I expect to be the one in the hot seat. Yeah, that's the only reason. Life sure keeps you on your toes.
そういえば侵入者さんのことをなんて呼べばいい？まだ探偵ネームないんでしょ？せっかくだし今決めちゃおうよ。
僕の名前は。
I barely stopped myself from answering downtown detective with my real name. Keeping your name secret is the first rule of the Detective Alliance. It could be deadly for your identity to get out between cases. That's why upon joining the DA, members are given a one-word codename based on defining characteristics of theirs. That codename is known as a detective alias. I've longed to have one of my own ever since Mr. Gunjoji told me about them. Despite my yearning for one, it's hard to think of anything on the spot. I have no experience, skills, or defining characteristics. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't even begin to guess why I was let into Detective Alliance.
いや、悩みすぎっしょ。君さ、見た感じうちより年上っぽいのに、なんでそんなに余裕ないわけ？
面目ないです。
ほら、一緒に考えようよ。特技は何？今までの事件で得意だと感じたことないわけ？
猫を探すのが得意でした。なぜか好かれるので。
Downtown Detective gives a deep sigh. My amateur status fills me with shame.
じゃあ、無能探偵ってことでよろしく。
Incompetent? Damn it, they changed the name already too, fuck. I don't even get a choice. Now that's just cruel. You might as well be saying I'm good for nothing. I mean, not that it's true, but still. Not that it isn't true, but still. I'd obviously prefer a different name, but before I get object... God damn it. Why is this music unironically banging though?
大和団地らしい謙虚な名前だな。好感が持てるぜ。飛脚探偵さんや社畜探偵さんと同じく特徴をカリカチュアしたタイプの名前なんですね。一緒に頑張ろうね、無能君。
呼び名があると仲間らしさがぐっと強まるのである。よろしく頼むぞ、無能殿。
God damn it.
ご利用しな空気、自分の時を思い出すな。
Incompetent detective rapidly gains the approval of the rest, so rapidly that it's too late to dispute it, much to my chagrin.
秒で定着してよかったね。無能先輩。
全然良くない。
Despite my protest, Downtown Detective ignores me, flashing a devilish smile. Thus, I did become Incompetent Detective, an official member of the Detective Alliance. God damn it, I'm the incompetent one? That's fucked. Bright red carpet covers the floor, and landscape paintings adorn the walls of the corridor. The detectives explained the situation as we walked down the passageway. The scent of roses on display around us drifting in the air.
君が連れてこられたこの場所は地図にすら載っていない孤島だ。この絶海の孤島を本拠地として探偵同盟は活動を続けてきたそうだよ。
I will be back in 1 second.
本部の2つの建物、操作の補助や機器の開発を行うための研究施設スナークスと、宿泊用の洋館ゴーメンガーストとに分かれている。本来私たちが到着した後は、この洋館にジオラマで再現された八つ崎港事件の主要な現場を見ながら全員で推理する手はずだったんだ。
だったというのは。
Ready detective suddenly punches a wall beside her, causing the other nearby walls to tremble from the impact.
俺たちが到着した時には本部の探偵たちの多くが毒殺されてたんだよ。研究施設にいた22人のメンバーが全員な。
22人が全員。
Every hair on my body stands on end at the unthinkable news. Even among history's more infamous mass murders, few had a death toll more than 20. Killing 22 people at once is beyond all reason.
無能先輩があの死体の山を見てたらしばらくご飯を食べれなかったと思うよ。それに毒ガスが充満してて下手したら死んでたしね。行かなくてラッキーだったかもね。
I hate downtown. A heap of corpses, just imagining it makes me feel faint. And that's not even taking the deadly cats into account. That would also explain why he hid me in the forest and went off on his own. I need to find him soon and thank him for keeping him safe.
やっぱり八つ崎港の犯行なんですか。
それはまだ何とも。あれだけ大量の殺人にもかかわらず手がかりとなる品が少なすぎるんです。
八つ崎港事件の特徴は必ず被害者が2人同時に現れることだ。今回の犯行は少し毛色が異なるように感じるよ。
八つ崎港の野郎が犯人に決まってるぜ。もしまだ島の中に嫌がるならこの俺が絶対ぶっ捕まえてやる。
It's said that the Quartering Duke has killed over 100 people, but even that was over the course of over half a year. On the other hand, murdering 22 people at once, all of them first-rate detectives no less, could hardly be the work of an amateur. I get the impression that he commits grisly deeds for the thrill of it, but otherwise, his identity is a complete mystery.
僕らは当然研究施設の捜査を始めたのですが、その途中でリーダーのデバイスに生き残った同盟のメンバーからこんな連絡が入ったんです。
ジェラ、ロースタン研究と何者か銃撃全滅した。私ゴーメンガーストに隠れている。リーダー合流して協力だ。
The recording cuts off there. Although the sound was low and full of static, even I could grasp what it signified.
この声って老子探偵ですよね。よかった。あの人は生きていたんですね。はい、間違いなく老子探偵だと思います。この状況で無事だなんて、さすがはレジェンドクラスの探偵ですよね。そんなにすごい探偵なんですか？
今でもメディアでよく取り上げられる明けぬ夜事件ってあるでしょ。あの事件を
Wow.
創立メンバーなんだって。
Imagine streaming indeed, huh? How you doing, Demi? It's been a while.
明けぬ夜事件。教科書にも載ってるような大事件じゃないですか。
I was a kid then, so I don't remember much. But it was the worst terror attack in national history sparked by a new religious movement. From that event onward, criminal atrocities swept the nation, which is part of why the Detective Alliance was formed. I'm alright. You messaged me at 6 a.m., of course.
もともとは老子さんと合流するために他の探偵たちと別れて、僕らはこの洋館に来たんだ。
老子殿が身を隠さなければならぬほど今回の犯人は凶悪なのだ。一刻も。
じゃあここにいる皆さん以外にも探偵がいるんですか？
そう、研究棟に残って捜査を続けているのが6人かな。まるで探偵のバーゲンセールだなって感じで草生えるよね。
I don't quite get what she means by that, but I guess it is a lot of detectives. I'm still reeling from the heinous murders we have yet to unravel, but at least now there's a glimmer of hope.
これで全ての部屋を探し終えたはずだけど、老子さんは見つからないね。
もしかしたら僕らより先に洋館へたどり着いた犯人に気づいてどこかへ逃げたのではないでしょうか。もし先ほどの通話を盗聴されていたら犯人が先回りした可能性は十分に考えられます。ああね、うちらがここに到着するまでに10分はかかってるもんね。考えられなくはないのかも。いや、研究所からこの洋館までは一本道で周囲は断崖絶壁。僕らに見つからずに逃げ出すのは無理だよ。
The detectives process the situation with an impressive speed, barely keeping up as I struggle to understand what it all means. Downtown's casual chit-chat is about the only thing that makes any sense to me.
つか、この部屋も無線 LAN ないじゃん。スマホ使えないとか、マジでナイポヤちゃんなんですけど。いえ、仮に無線 LAN のルーターがあったとしても使えないと思いますよ。なんで？この島は県外ってこと？いえ、実は研究棟で固定回線でのネットワーク接続を試してみたのですが、先ほど洋館内の回線で試してみても結果は同じでした。おそらく島の通信用のアンテナが壊されているんだと思います。でも探偵デバイス同士はやり取りできてんじゃん。スマホとは違うの？ええ、探偵デバイスは独自の通信システムを採用しているんです。僕も開発に携わりましたが、本当に素晴らしい技術が使われているんですよ。詳しく説明するとですね。はいはい、まあつまりうちはこの島にいる間、連れたちとろくに会話もできないってことね。下がるわ。
I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm just reading for the most part. But apparently, every single person that's talking right now, including myself, is a detective.
おいおい、まさかこの匂いは。
Rowdy Detective starts crawling on all fours like a dog right at the entrance of the room. She presses her face to the carpet with a sharp expression on her face.
ヤマトさん、どう んですか？
I'm the incompetent detective.
血の匂いだ。
Silence fills the room. The others all turn to look at Rowdy.
バラの匂いと絨毯の色で全然気づかなかったが、この絨毯、血痕がついてやがるぜ。入り口からまっすぐに。
Rowdy detective approaches an empty vase and sticks her hand in it, pulling out a bloody knife.
ビンゴだな。誰の血だかは知らねえが、どうやら悪意ある誰かさんが館に侵入したことは間違いないようだぜ。どうして血の匂いなんて分かったんですか？見るからに乾ききってるのに。俺はガキの頃から漁師の親父を手伝ってたからな。猟犬の嗅覚、わしの視覚、ウサギ並みの聴覚、そして大和団地の魂を持ってんのよ。
Hope that took offense at helping on hunting trips would give you those kind of abilities, but it's astonishing nonetheless.
山田さん、そのナイフが使われた場所はこの部屋ではないんだよね。
ああ、この部屋には血痕しか残ってねえ。あくまでナイフを隠すのに部屋まで入れてきただけみてえだ。血の匂いを終えたらいいんだけどよ。さすがにバラの匂いが充満した廊下じゃきつすぎるぜ。
やはりそうか。しかし、科学君、君ならば
もちろんです。そのための科学ですから。
Techie detective proudly pulls out a cute little machine that resembles a puppy out from his pocket. This is Sniffy Whiffy? Ain't no way it's named Sniffy Whiffy, bro.
さらに南西の小型ゴムクローラーを採用したことで凹凸の激しい通路であろうとも現場を荒らさず時速 15km で迅速な移動が可能。当然小型の発信機も搭載なので探偵デバイスの画面からリアルタイムに追跡可能です。そしてさらに ISS も宇宙ステーション。
大したものだね。後でゆっくりと説明を聞くから追跡に移ろうか。
ごめんなさい。僕発明の話になると夢中になっちゃって。
Techie detective returns to reality, hanging his head in shame.
じゃあ早速その道具で。
道具じゃないです。遊具です。僕の大切な友達を道具扱いしないでください。
Workaholic detective vows several times an apology for misspeaking. True to his name, he's the very picture of a harried office worker. Techie detective may seem calm and collected, but careless remarks about his inventions are a clear sore spot of his. I better watch my words. I still have my hands bound up. Techie detective calms down, setting his dog-like tracking machine Sniffy Whiffy loose near the bloodstain. Sniffy Whiffy scoots across the floor just like a real dog. He circles around a couple of times, then thumps into the room's door. I open the door and Sniffy Whiffy darts out of the room, barreling down the hall toward the stairs. I could pick up his roses, but he must have zeroed in on the trail of blood. Bork. Why you borking, huh?
正確には匂いではなく空気中に残留する物質を追跡しているんです。だから猟犬の鼻も型なしだね。うるせえ。最初に気づいたのは俺の鼻だろうが。
Doggo borked. Sniffy Whiffy stops at a painting just before the stairs to the entrance hall. Oh, really? I don't know why my dog's barking at 12 a.m.
バーカ、見るからに血痕なんてないじゃん。つまりナイフが使われた場所はこの絵画の奥ってことだっつうの。
Ooh, fancy. The remake of Silent Hill.
まさか絵画の中に世界が童話の中の話かとばかり思っていたが実在するとは。
落ち着いて武装。
Your legs are
論理的に考えていけば真実は明らかになる。
Ooh. Workaholic touches the painting as he inspects the frame. Then he gently taps the artwork before pressing his ear against it.
間違いない。この絵画の奥には空洞が広がっている。ならさ、ここをこうしてずらす。
Still touching the painting, Workaholic moves his hand. The entire wall around it slips back like a sliding door, revealing a hidden passage. Pyramid Head shows up at Silent Hill 2. Sniffy Whiffy, who had been waiting in place, begins moving again right down the newly discovered path.
今ので分かったんですか？一体どうやって？
それは企業秘密ってことで、私はこの仕事を続けて長いからね。知識量だけはそれなりにあるんだ。
Yeah.
おじさんやるじゃん。ぶっちゃけ見直したっつうか、むしろリスペクっちゃうみたいな。
What was that clapping sound?
おじさんは勘弁してほしいな。私まだ一応20代だからね。ギリギリだけど。
Workaholic Detective turns red in the face as Downtown Detective smacks him on the behind. That's... what the fuck?
先でナイフが使われたのだな。何が起こるかわからぬ。我が先陣を切ろう。
The sound of my ass cheeks as I got my drink off the side. God damn.
おい待てって。この広さで2人並べるだろ。俺も先頭に立って周りを注意するぜ。
Rowdy Detective tries to push forward but is stopped by Doleful Detective.
ヤマトさんが科学君、渋谷さんと通路の入り口を見張っておいてくれないかな。今の状況なら。
Armor and Doleful Detective are to spearhead our foray into the secret passage with me and Workaholic Detective following after. Rowdy, Downtown, and Techie Detective would remain at the entryway acting as lookouts in case the tunnel is a trap. As for why I'm being brought along, it's probably because I won't be able to escape in this tunnel. I have not heard about Witchfire. I'm struck by the fact that Workaholic, the most experienced of the group, had deftly assumed a position beside me. These detectives don't miss a single beat. As he speaks, Doleful and Armor Detective enter the tunnel together. Workaholic and I continue right behind them. The four of us descend down a spiral staircase that winds its way underground. At the bottom is a gloomy underground tunnel. We proceed into it, using the light function on our D-pads to get our way. The only sounds are our footfalls echoing in the tunnel, as well as Sniffy Whiffy's treads crawling across the floor ahead of us. The air is dusty and reeks of mold, making it hard to breathe. Clearly this place is seldom used. My love of cleanliness aches to ventilate the place. Oh, really? Doleful Detective's eyes narrow as he travels the tunnel. His usual fearful countenance is tense. as if he's an entirely different person. Workaholic detective whispers to me as if he's reading my mind. Over 100 cases solved. The idea alone leaves me speechless. We can't be that far apart in age, and yet his track record is on a whole nother level. What sort of heroic life has this seemingly gentle boy led up to now? Skillful detective stops in his tracks. Armor shines his deep headlight on doleful detective's leg, revealing a trail of blood beneath his knee. Something reflects in the light just ahead of them. He's right. When I get close to the reflection, I see red dripping off an extremely fine wire. It was so razor thin and difficult to see that, were it not for the blood, it would have been nearly imperceptible, even in direct light. Workaholic detective produces medication and bandages from his pocket and begins applying first aid to doleful detective's leg. For some reason, doleful detective struggles to reply. Workaholic steps in to answer on his behalf. I like Doleful. Doleful's a nice character. In stories, detectives are always expected to survive even when wrapped up in a personal case, and even when their life is on the line. And now I'm sitting in front of a real-life detective who embodies that very trope. Doleful detective's expression flickers as he touches a bandage on his wrist. The countless traces of medical attention covering his body shows just how much suffering he's constantly endured. I see the resolve within Doleful Detective's eyes as he speaks. He and I may look similar. I might even be the older one, but nothing in me competes with that look. We couldn't be further apart.
水臭いぞ。
Armored detective abruptly steps forward and he swings his arm up before bringing it down to chop the wire before us.
武装さん、そのワイヤーは手伝って切れちゃうんですよ。いくら鎧を着ているからって。
心配無用だ。我の身を包むは我が家系のみに言い伝わる史上最高の鎧なり。
The wire parts with ease. Sure enough, Armored Detective doesn't have a single scratch on him. Both doleful and workaholic widen their eyes with incredulity? Incredulity.
我の鎧は砕け得ぬ。安心して我を先頭に立たせるといい。
だけど、僕が前に出ていた方がチーム全体のリスクを抑えられるし。
仲間が傷つくかもしれぬのを静観してはおれぬさ。お主らの盾となるために我は分不相応を承知でこの場に馳せ参じたのだからな。
Armored Detective speaks with a calmness that eases Doleful Detective's taut expression. Despite the latter's brave front, he might have been nearing his limit.
ありがとう、武装さん。言葉に甘えて、僕はあなたの後ろから周囲を警戒することにするよ。
Armored Detective takes the lead as Doleful X has a lookout behind him.
武装さん、すぐ前方、僕の首あたりに脅威の気配を感じます。
またワイヤーだな。承知である。
Without a second thought, Armored Detective swings his aim towards the area Doleful Detective indicated. Chop, chop, chop. Sometimes Doleful's warning comes too late and Armor runs into a wire, but even then it never leaves a mark. We continue safely through the darkness until...
発信機の反応を見るに追跡装置は5メートル前方で停止している。ナイフが使われた現場に到着したみたいだね。
We finally make it to the end of the tunnel with 0 injuries, save for of course. Stiffy Wiffy is parked right in front of a steel door, which means the bloody knife we found earlier must be used right behind it.
武装君、申し訳ないが先陣を頼めるか。
何を言っているのだ、社畜殿。このような危うい状況にて先駆けとなるべく我が鎧は存在している。
And yet, Armored Detective looks tense as he cautiously touches the doorknob. Goosebumps roll across my body. Deep down, I get the overwhelming urge to scream, "Don't open it!" As if my mind somehow knows what we're about to see is truly horrific. I have an extremely bad feeling about this.
3つ数えると同時に開けるのである。1つ、2つ。
The doorknob makes a click as it turns. My heart rate leaps, but I can't bring myself to look away. A blinding light flashes as the door opens, forcing me to avert my eyes. On top of that, a metallic stench envelops me. The way it sticks to my throat makes me cough. However, none of the other detectives show even a hint of fear as they proceed beyond the door. I hurry to follow them, but in that moment... Doleful Detective's cry echoes out. As I step into the room, the first thing I see is the ground dyed in crimson. The red spreads across so much of the floor that at first I mistake it for a carpet pattern. But there's no way that's the case. Despite my hateful disbelief, the smell filling the air tells me that this is blood. With each breath, the metallic stench fills my lungs, my stomach, my whole body. I'm assailed by an overwhelming urge to vomit. If I lose focus for even a moment, I know I'll wind up spilling my guts out. Upon closer inspection, I notice something floating in the ocean of gore. It's large and reminds me of a caterpillar. 4 other long, thin objects surround it. In a way, they resemble a quartet of lifeboats, all rowing in different directions away from a sinking ship, but in truth, they're human limbs scattered about across the floor. Before us is a scene devoid of life. A man whose name I don't know gazes at me, his head half submerged in a sanguine sea. My eyes are transfixed as I stand there in a daze. There's a biting chill as if the temperature has dropped by quite a few degrees. My hands and legs tremble and I can barely stand. Every ounce of strength leaves my body, with which no longer feels like my own. I muster up all the willpower I can, only to topple over on the spot. Is this all just a bad dream?
現場に出くわすのは初めてだ。辛いのはわかる。目を背けてな。
Without any concern to spare for me, Workaholic works toward the pool of blood.
ヒゲ君、武装君、上に戻って他の3人をここへ呼んできてくれ。それからリーダーへ洋館に向かうよう伝えてほしい。
He sums up the heart of the matter in a low voice.
殺人事件だ。ローシさんが何者かに殺された。
Regardless of how detached he remains while objectively stating facts, it doesn't change the reality of what we're facing. A middle-aged man's corpse lies dismembered, his limbs strewn across the room we stand in. Why is this song going so fucking hard? For the first time in my life, I'm confronted with a murder scene. Chapter 1, The Case of the Dismembered Detective. That was only the... What? Wait. You're telling me that was only the... Oh my god. I stayed at a corner, my mind completely blank. This is my first time witnessing a murder scene in person. Senior detective, you know that old guy that drugged me? Why died? I don't know. Psycho's death has steered in my mind, but this is different. Someone I know lies torn into pieces in a vivid sea of blood, dead. I'm no great detective, and although I tried to steel myself coming face to face with a scene like this, it has me too weak to stand. Even once I regained my footing, my legs still struggle to remain upright. The metallic stench of fresh blood is one I'll never be able to get used to. I breathe through my mouth as much as possible. If I had the choice, I'd sprint out of this room this very second. Workaholic detective ignores me as he investigates the course with meticulous efficiency. And the victim must have been well acquainted. He and his victim must have been well acquainted. His pain look when we found his body suggests that his mental burden is far greater than mine. Yet despite that, he shows no signs of weakness. How much experience solving homicides would it take to become a detective like him? I can't even fathom it the way I am now. The other detectives who have been summoned by Doleful Detective are unable to hide their shock at the sight. The fact that this game killed off the guy so early proves that I'm only slightly less confused by this game. I'm a little slightly less confused. The guy that kidnapped me is dead. I thought Pops was supposed to have made it.
同志探偵さんの連絡から僕たちが館にたどり着くまで20分。そんな短時間で人体をここまでバラバラにして凶器を隠して逃げ切るなんて。こ
れほどの出血だから死斑がないのは当然として死後硬直すらまだ始まっていない。
Rigor mortis hasn't set in yet. Wait, that means that... Hang on. If I know how rigor mortis works, and he literally just died, like pretty early, like he literally died like super early.
直前に電話ももらっているから血液の凝固具合
I love how I searched psychological horror. I came up with a pocket waifu. Oh my god.
時系列を整理しよ
Let's reestablish the order of events.
う
Senior detective contacted us at 12:40. Then we split into teams and head to the. It's from this.
洋館への到着時刻
Since we arrived right at 1300, assume 20.
この20分間に犯行は行われたと見ていいはずだ
The crime took place 20 minutes. The 20 minutes that it took to travel from the facility to the manor.
先生質問。うちらが研究棟へ出発する前に犯人がサクッと逃げ出した可能性はないわけ？
それはないよ私たちはロースさんからの連絡を受けてすぐに洋館へと移動したもし仮に犯人が洋館の外へ脱出を図っていたなら
I hate this guy.
よって犯人
I hate that this guy somehow managed to get dismembered silently, right? It's confusing as fuck. I can hoof it for days, but it'll still take me 10 minutes to run down the hill to the facility.
ここで重要となるのは犯人が現在も中に残っているかどうかだ犯人が館から脱出できた時エントランスホールで無能
We found incompetent in the entrance hall and spoke for a time and made our way upstairs 15 minutes later around 13:15. They're using military time.
そして大和さん科学君のおかげで隠し通路を発見できたのが13時34分
I'm not good with military time.
隠し通路の前の廊下からは常に洋館のエントランスホールを一望可能だ私たちがあの場所にたどり着いた時点で気づかれずに脱出することは困難になる犯人が洋館に潜んでいたなら逃げ出す時間は私たちが2階の探索に集中していた間のわずか20分足らず犯人はまだ洋館内にいる可能性が高いんだよ
20分あれば洋館から抜け出すくらいはできるんじゃ。
外に出るまではできるかもしれませんが、その後が問題です。洋館と研究棟とをつなぐ坂道は一本道で隠れる場所もありません。下っている間に窓から外を見られればおしまいなので現実的ではないと思います。
その通りだよ実際私は窓から外を見るように気をつけていたが怪しい人影は確認できなかった
ちょい待ち今エントランスホールは誰もいないしまずいんじゃね脱出し放題じゃん
なあそれなら大丈夫すでにリーダーたちがこの洋館へ向かっているからねもし今脱出を図っているとしたらそれこそ山道
Apparently there's 6 other detectives here. I'm curious about who they are. Even though I know that one of them is literally the only reason why I bought this game.
よっしゃだからさっさと上に上がっぞ建物の中を徹底的にネズミ狩りだこら
待ってくれ洋館内に隠れるよりもずっと手軽で安全なごまかし方がある
Workaholic points directly at me, drawing the focus of the other detectives.
無能君君が犯人なら時間的にも何ら問題なく犯行が可能なんだよ
Fucking A, man. My voice cracks as I'm caught completely off guard. Me, the killer? How does this make any sense?
単純な話だよローシさんをバラバラに切断しエントランスホールで倒れたふりをするだけなら我々が到着するまでの20分間で間に合う犯人がこの館から逃走できないなら
What?
考えるしかないんだよ
何を言ってるんですかたった20分足らずで人間をバラバラにするなんてできませんよそれにあの地下通路にはワイヤーが張り巡らされていたじゃないですかどうやって通ったって言うんですか
I raised my voice in protest without thinking. Even with armor and Dofel's help, getting through that passage took 5 minutes. It's hard to imagine anyone like me with no special traits making it through so quickly.
そこが問題だ。おそらく何らかのトリックを使ったのだろうね。だから私は不可能ではないと思った。耳を澄ましてごらん。
Why is this music going so hard? I'm being accused right now. He's right. If I strain my ears, I can pick up sounds coming from the ceiling. Who are they coming from, though? We should be the only people inside the manor right now.
この地下室の真上はエントランスホールだ。おそらくリーダーたちが館にこの地下室は身を隠すための部屋だ。世界上のエントランスホールの様子が音で把握できるよう。
This game is sick. Now that he mentioned it, my own eyes spot gaps in the ceiling where light is flittering through. As Workaholic Detective said, it must be coming from the entrance hall above us.
ともかくこの地下室とエントランスホールは実質隣り合っている。何らかのトリックを使えば移動時間は大幅に短縮できるんだ。例えばこの地下室の天井とエントランスホールの床板の一部に細工がしてあって人一人が通れる隙間を作る。
Why is this man going so hard on accusing me? I didn't do nothing. I swear I didn't do nothing. Workaholic's relentless reasoning leaves me overwhelmed. Even if there is a gap, there's no way someone my size can fit through it. Still, he's heard about one thing. The entrance hall and the basement are awfully close to each other. How could I possibly clear my name now that we know it's possible to move between them?
ちょっと秒で結論出しすぎじゃね？天井と床を通り抜けできないことの証明とか無理ゲーじゃん。そんな悪魔の証明みたいな無理難題を突きつけて追い詰めるとかマジでなえるんですけど。
渋谷殿の言う通りだ。エントランスホールへと移動したトリックとやらがわからぬ以上疑うなど論外なのである。まあ我の必殺技プラズマナックルを使えば風穴を開けることはできるが。いや、
風穴開けちゃったら元に戻らないでしょ。そもそも20分で大人の男性の体をここまで切断することなど。
And there was a staircase downstairs. How did the wheelchair guy get down here?
犯人を男性だと仮定してもよほど手際よく切断しなければ難しいと思います。
血抜きや皮を剥ぐ必要がないし狩猟に慣れてるやつなら可能だと思うがな。俺ならやれる自信があるぜ。
じゃあヤマトさんが犯人ってことでいいですね。
自信があるってだけだっつうの。戒律の処理やらで時間が足りねえのは間違いないしな。いや時間は十分だったんだ。社畜さんはおそらく僕と同じことを考えてる。
君も聞いた。そうわずかな時間でもバラバラにできるんだよ。隠し通路の罠にも使用されたこの
I have all the evidence. I was asleep and here's the footage. This is all fake. Elaborate. He doesn't, and he destroys the evidence.
もしかしたら犯人はロースさんから私たちに連絡があった時点であらかじめワイヤーを彼に巻きつけていたのかもしれない。そうして脅すことで無理やりロースさんに連絡をさせた後ワイヤーを引っ張って四肢を切断すればあとは脱出するだけだ。
そのワイヤーはさっき見張り役の皆さんを呼びに行った際に僕が見つけました。偶然血で足が滑っちゃって。
付 着した血の量からして先ほど飛脚君が引っかかったワイヤーでないことは明白だ。犯人はおそらく僕らが隠し通路のワイヤーを切断することも見越して隠し通路の床に捨てたんだろうね。むしろ凶器を隠すために犯人自らがワイヤーの罠を設置しておいたのかもしれない。ともかく現状では無能君を犯人として疑わざるを得ないんだ。何か反論があるなら言ってほしい。
僕はやってません。
I shot on impulse. Regret fills me almost immediately. I'd say the same thing if I was guilty as would anyone in my shoes.
僕も信じられないよ。だけど信じられないからこそ真実を解き明かさないといけないって思うんだ。
私も同意見だ。同盟の仲間が犯人だなんて信じたくないな。なんてどうして。
Workaholic fixes me with a steely look. I want to speak up but don't know what to say. I've reached my limits just processing all of these theories. There's no room for me to make my own deductions.
おい待てよ。無能の兄さんが犯人だってにはちょいと状況が露骨すぎねえかい。俺にはわかるぜ。犯人は別にいるってな。
根拠は何ですか？無能さんを疑わない理由を知りたいです。
I think I'm gonna go lie down now, though. I'm definitely gonna come back to this later. This game is great. Also, Hale, when you said that it was Danganronpa stuff, it's actually made by the same company. So you were correct. I am gonna go lie down though. I will definitely be back later. I'll see you later, bye.